U.S. revenue declined by more than 9% in the first quarter this year as the boycott of Bud Light continued to hit sales. The world's largest brewery, which also makes brands like Corona and Stella Artois, has faced a backlash to a Bud Light promotional campaign featuring transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Bud Light eventually lost its spot at the top of the U.S. beer market to Modelo. With us on the phone this morning is branding expert Scott Baradell. Scott, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So we know a lot of money, of course, has gone into Bud Light's attempt to sort of turn this thing around. Why is it not working for them?
Well, a couple reasons. One is people don't like when brands are wishy-washy, and in this case, Bud Light seemed to take a stand on an issue, and then when there was backlash, it reversed course and kind of tucked tail and ran. And so people don't like that in brands today. Whatever the stand is, they like brands to stick with it. But in this case, Bud Light was already kind of on a downward trajectory before this happened. It was an effort by a new marketing team to try to get younger beer drinkers interested in Bud Light again. And obviously it exploded in their face because it just made them lose a lot of their current beer drinkers. So
can Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, of course, win back these customers?
Well, I think they can solidify their base again by continuing to do what they're doing, aligning with country music, aligning with NFL, aligning with UFC. That's all good. I don't think they're going to be the number one beer in America ever again, really. I think Anheuser-Busch has come to terms with that. They saw Michelob Ultra, which they also own, has been much more appealing to younger beer drinkers. And I think rather than try to continue to bang their heads against the wall and get Bud Light back to number one, I think they're going to focus on Michelob Ultra as being the light beer for younger beer drinkers in their brands.
Now, real quickly here, I'm wondering if the public has gotten some issue fatigue, if we can call it that, from retailers. Is the public tired of companies embracing social politics and things, or should they stick to just selling beer, jeans, making cars, whatever?
Well, it really depends on the brand and the audience. Like, for example, the same month that Bud Light partnered with Dylan Mulvaney, so did Nike. Nike partnered with Dylan Mulvaney for sports bras, and it didn't hurt Nike, and no one even said anything about it. It's just because Nike is a different brand with a different audience. Nike could partner and did partner with Colin Kaepernick. Bud Light probably wouldn't have been successful if they had partnered with Colin Kaepernick. So the audiences are one thing. Another thing is there's no reason to step on these landmines of these kind of hot button issues. You can be a brand that supports, say, sustainability, and very few people will be upset about that. But if you start aligning yourself with climate change, then suddenly you've touched a political button. If you align yourself with the idea of diversity, and that's fine as a general thing, but if you associate yourself specifically with DEI, again, hot button issue, you're going to have a lot of people polarized. You could lose customers. So you got to think about it. You could have values, but if you align them too closely with the politics, it can really backfire on you.
Now, let me give you just about 30 seconds here or so to talk about your book. You're the author of Trust Signals: Brand Building in a Post-Truth World. I love that phrase, post-truth world. I don't think there's been a better description of our current society that I've heard in a long time. Tell us about the title and the book itself.
Well, it just means that today, if you go back to old days, there was a general consensus around what the facts were. Everyone watched the evening news and Walter Cronkite and those things, and you might disagrry on the politics, but today there's disagreement over the facts. President Trump's team, from the time he was inaugurated, Kellyanne Conway introduced this term, alternative facts. And the truth is, we are all working from different sets of facts today based on the kind of the rabbit holes in social media that we're in. Makes it very hard to have a conversation. So as a brand, what the book advises is you better know the rabbit holes that your customers are in, or you can get in some trouble. That's what happened to Bud Light.
Gotcha. Scott, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And folks, I want to remind you that is branding expert Scott Baradell with us on The Big Question. We appreciate him joining us this early in the morning.